Alright, welcome back. Been a while since I've done a video like this, so it will be time to take a look at the new S class, well, one of the recent new S classes, Raven, or in the global version the character is called Lucia Plume, although I call this character Lucia Raven because, well, that's what I've been calling her in the original server of the game. Design-wise, the character still looks pretty good. Absolutely no complaints here. One of the best looking characters in game. You have currently 3 different coatings. This one is paid, although it is the best looking one if you ask me. Not quite sure when I'll buy this one. One day I'll definitely buy this outfit, but the other 3 free ones are still pretty good. And in the future we will receive more coatings for this character. Now on to the details. This character is a attacker type, 20% physical, 80% elemental. He has good continual burst, and of course the special trait about this character is that she can switch attack modes. She can go be physical and elemental. Overall, the graph shows that she is practically good at everything except support. I can definitely see why that's the case. These are the recommended lineups. Now I'm going to use something similar to this, although I like to use my own teams. Very similar to this, to the current teams that you can see here. The only difference is that my healer is going to be a S class. Although you can use whatever team you like. In the future we will be getting more ice support characters and you can match the character with that support. This is the recommended gear for both Pain Cage and Warzone. I will be using the recommended gear. The only thing that I'll be lacking is the 6-star weapon. I'll be using the 5-star weapon. Although, to be honest, the 5-star weapon is honestly more than enough. It gets the job done without a problem. Alright, well, time to take a look at more details on the character. Now we can see the current layout and the current memories and weapons there. Level 80, the character should be fully maxed out. Currently only S class. To be honest, S class is still more than enough. It will get the job done without a problem. And now let's take a look at the skills. Now, like I mentioned before, the character has 2 modes. It has the physical mode and the elemental mode. And overall, because this is a elemental character, she will do more damage in the elemental form. Now here we can take a look at the red orb stats. Now let's go towards the yellow orb stat. The red one does, I feel like it does a little bit more damage. I like to match the red one with the ultimate. That way I noticed that I was doing a lot of extra damage. Active skill does give you decent damage boost. The ultimate, now the ultimate on this character is pretty crazy. One of the highest alpha hits from any character in the game. She can practically nuke everything on the field. 3218.82 when the ultimate skill is fully charged. Now we have 4 different stages of the ultimate, which you fill up with 3 orb combos or with evasion plus 1 orb combo. And of course here are the rest of the skills. Let's go take a look at the passive skills. Now you unlock more passive skills as you rank up the character. In my case, on the original version, this character is triple S. Of course, fully farmed, full free to play. But I still say the base S class still gets the job done. Of course, you get some extras when you upgrade the rank, but it's again not necessary. It does improve damage, but you still have fun even at the base level of the character. Well, those were the skills. Now let's take a look at the combat training and at the tutorial, just to get a feel on how the character works, and of course to show you how the combos work. Now, you can immediately go into the ice form, but I prefer for the ultimate button to first ignite to become blue, and then I like to go into the ultimate form. and I rarely use the ultimate unless it's fully charged. Now you have 4 stages of the ultimate, and as you can see you fill up the ultimate meter by doing the orb combos. 3 orb combos will charge 1 stage, and of course after you use the ultimate then you have to charge up the first ultimate to change the form, and then you have to charge up 2 more bars to get the full ultimate potential. I really like to only use the ultimate when it's fully charged, that way I do maximum possible damage. Like I mentioned before, I like to do red orb combo plus ultimate, because for some reason I noticed that it does a little bit extra damage that way. Although you can still do any other combo and then use the ultimate, the character will still do a lot of damage. In general use, I've noticed basically no issues with that. Even on the base S class, you can still get pretty good scores. And of course, I did use the ultimate on the 3rd stage there, and as you could see, it did not do a lot of damage, but still, it did some damage. Alright, well, that was the first part, the theory part, as I like to call it. Now let's jump into real combat, and let's see how the character will perform. Now, this is one of the trial bosses, Camu, level 80, 2nd or 3rd most highest difficulty. Level 80 in both cases. Now, tank-wise, depends on, of course, what enemy you're fighting, but it is typical that the attacker type characters don't have a lot of tank. That means they can't take a lot of hits. They die very easily. Now, from all the attackers, Alpha is basically the one that's dying very easily in 1 or 2 hits, sometimes 3 hits, depends on the build. But Raven does take some hits before going down, and might very well be the tankiest attacker type character that we currently have. Now I paired the character with one of the game's recommended lineups that I've seen in the starting window a little bit earlier, and that's what I decided to use. In most cases I like to use the dual healer setup when I do a video like this, but I decided to go and just use the game's recommended teams. When I compare 2 different characters, then I like to use a team that can benefit both, or a team that's neutral to both. That way the scores are going to be comparable, and of course it will be fair towards the characters. Now, in the future, when we get more ice support characters, the main team will of course change. And I forgot who the next character, who the next ice support character is. I believe we have some time until that happens. Until then, basically any lineup that you choose should work. That's one of the things about this game. You can practically make anything work, and that's a very good and a positive thing. Well, the first boss has been defeated. That was easy. I did take some hits. Sometimes I take hits on purpose just to see how much damage I'll take. And I can tell you, if that was Alpha, I would have to retry the stage a couple times. Alright, well, let's go on to the good old Nightmare Ball, my personal favorite boss in the game. Now, we have received some stats around the new year, and only 7.6% of players were able to defeat the Nightmare Ball. Well, glad to say that I am one of those 7% of players who is able to defeat this boss without much of a problem. Now, why I use this boss for testing? Well, the Nightmare Ball is quite unpredictable, very unpredictable, and the Nightmare Ball is also very tricky and very hard to fight, which makes it perfect to test characters out. However, I wish that the developers would add more bosses on the trial stage. Would definitely add more stuff to test. Now, one thing that I like about this character, you can practically switch her out and then after some time switch her in, and the ultimate should be ready and prepared. And then you can quickly go into the ultimate form, into the ice form, and then you can quickly go for the full ultimate. So if you like to use the character to switch her in and switch her out from time to time, it works really well. And in some cases, that's the way how to play the character. In my case, I like to main the character. That means I like to constantly use the character because, well, I enjoy playing that way. And that's also one of the things about this game. You can make your own playstyle, and in most cases it will work, which is a very good thing. That means you can develop your own tactics. Now let's hope that those... Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I thought that this character was about to die because the boss entered the final phase in a very uncomfortable moment. Okay, let's do one more ultimate, and Nightmare Ball has been defeated. Again, second or third highest difficulty for the Nightmare Ball. Both level 80, I believe. One is 5,000, no, one is 7,000 combat power, the other is 8,000, something like that. And now let's go on to the next boss. We have Rosetta. Now this boss is a boss that has physical weakness, resistance weakness, so not quite the best boss to test this character on, but well, why not? Let's see how it will work. Overall, very fun boss to fight, so it really doesn't matter. This is also the second or third highest difficulty. I usually go for that difficulty because the first one is too easy. The second one can be difficult, depends on what character we're talking about. And when I say that, depends on how the character works with me. Again, I like to play some characters, while at the same time I'm not good at all characters. So in some cases I have to practice first before I can actually use a character the way I like. And that's fine. Haven't done one of these in a while, so in that aspect I think I'm doing pretty good. 17 health bars on Rosetta. The co-op performance of Raven is pretty good. So the combat performance of Alpha is also pretty good in co-op. And I see people compare the two characters quite often, and that's okay. One of the things about Alpha, she has extremely good physical DPS and overall very good burst. That's one of the aspects where they are very similar. Alpha has that high DPS, while Raven has the alpha damage from the ultimate. And of course she has some good burst attacks as well. Overall both have good burst, but Alpha is pretty good at DPS, while Raven is pretty good at the alpha damage, which makes them both very useful in generally all situations. But overall, in my experience, I like to use both of them at the same time in the same team, and so far it works very well. 4 health bars left on Rosetta. Let me just... one ultimate should be enough. There we go, nice. Well, that was smooth. That was very smooth. Well, surprisingly a very tanky character, I can tell you from my personal experience. I died a lot with Alpha, so I learned how fragile the resistance on that character is. This one is way better in that aspect. Well then, let's go on to the other difficult stages. So I like to play these stages because, well, they are quite difficult, quite challenging, and you can practically die in 1 or 2 hits. Now, the current record holder for the fastest clear time in this particular map is the new S-Class Liv. And I personally can't wait for that character to be released. Should happen in a couple months. The new S-Class Liv wrecked this stage in, I believe, like 13 seconds. the DPS on that character is mental, and oh man, that character has, if I have to say the most powerful character I have, that's the new S-class sleeve. That's not released yet in this version, but it will be released very soon. The alpha damage on that one is crazy, and well, you can actually look that up. I did make a video on that character a while ago. She literally one ultimate and that's it, stage cleared. That's practically how it goes. For this character, well, I had to play a little bit more careful because, well, these enemies can kill me in one hit, and of course I have to make sure that I evade most things. Well, I got absolutely destroyed there. If that was alpha, I would have been probably dead, because this character just takes a little bit more damage than alpha. But of course, that doesn't mean that alpha is bad. Well, I died. Alright, let's retry that. Famous last words. Well, those were some very famous last words indeed. Alright, let's do this now properly. Now with alpha, on this stage, when I did a video on alpha, basically doing the same thing, I did die a couple times from one single hit. Now this character takes a couple hits until going down, and that's a good thing. That means the character is more forgiving. I got destroyed again. Okay. Now in terms which character is easier to play, I would say this one, absolutely. Alpha requires some evasion timing and overall requires a little bit of practice, but overall it's still a phenomenal character, very good character. One of the first ones to be actually released, so of course it's one of the best ones. And on the original version of the game, Alpha is still dominating. Now I would say that the new S-class Liv does perform surprisingly a little bit better, although that character is very silly. You will see what I mean when you get that character in this version. That's my favorite character, by the way. That's my favorite character because smooth, very smooth, and overall insane damage. And of course, it's a healer on top of that. Alright, so let's go towards the next one. Again, all of these stages are practically level 80. Combat power recommendation is around above 5,000, I believe. Maybe it's even around 7,000, I kinda forgot. Not really paid much attention to the combat power requirement. I just take the characters and go in. The rest is pure skill. The combat power doesn't mean too much. I use it only as I guess, oriental viewpoint. I don't base most of my things on the combat power. I had a lot of cases where a character with lower combat power did beat a character with higher combat power. So in the end, it really depends on how you play the characters, which is a good thing. It's hard to power creep in this game. Although, kinda feeling weird saying that when I have the new S-class Liv clearing these stages in like couple seconds. I think my record is actually like 10 seconds, 13 seconds. I kind of forgot. It's been a while actually. It's been a while. But that character is dominating these stages. Very, very crazy. And the same can be said in practically Warzone and the Paint Cage. Now speaking about the Warzone, well, this is a ice elemental character, and well, this is the ice map. Let's see how much points will I get. Now for Warzone I have couple teams. I will use this team first, and then I will go with my custom team that I like to use. The first team has Alpha and S-Liv. Alpha as support, S-Liv as healer. And afterwards I will test out my other custom team, which still works pretty good, works pretty well. But for some reason I believe I'm going to get a better score with the different team, with the other team. so we will see how that will go. So far I am going through the floors without a problem. I still wish that Warzone wasn't time limited. I would like to fight until all of my characters die. That's how I would like this to be, but it's still fun, even with the 3 minutes timer that we have. Floor number 8, we have the first boss. And of course, all of this is recorded from a free-to-play perspective. As you could see, I mean, it's obvious that this account that I'm using is free-to-play. Currently saving up for the next S-class, which should be Rosetta, a very fun to play character. One of the most fun to play defensive characters that the game has, and will be a part of my main team. Alright, floor number 9. Alright, let's go and clear this one. Nice. Floor number 10, and alright, well, we reached floor number 10. Not bad. Was very smooth. It ran very smooth. Okay, now let's see the points. 208,000. That's okay. Now on to the second team. Replaced Alpha with Kamui as support. And let's see how many points I will get in this round. It's actually not 3 minutes, it's 2 minutes, my apologies. 2 minutes timer. For some reason I thought that it was 3 minutes. Kinda weird. Okay, let me just quickly clear this wave. Those were some good evasions. Now, evasion-wise, some characters have a split-second evasion delay, some characters have immediate response. Depends on their animation, how they were made. This character has a decent animation. However, I feel like sometimes the evasion on this character feels a split-second delayed, and that causes me to get hit in some cases, so keep that in mind. The evasion does feel a little bit delayed. It's like if you play with high ping, that's how it feels. So that's just how it works. But overall, should not represent a lot of problems in that aspect. You just have to know the attack patterns of the enemy that you're fighting, and evading that becomes very easy. Okay, 30 seconds, the boss at 10 health bars. I should have my ultimate ready very soon. But evasion wise, I feel like Alpha's evasion does feel a little bit smoother, but that might be just me. Both evasions are actually pretty good. 5 seconds, am I going to be able to launch the ultimate on the 10th wave? I will. Alright, nice. That was a good one. And I believe I should beat my own score by at least 10%. Let's see. Well, 225,000. That was actually pretty good. Alright, well, that was Raven, or Lucia Plume, that they call her in this version. Although I prefer Raven. It sounds better, I believe. But maybe that might be just me. Well then, in that case, hope that you enjoyed. It was a good run as always, and stay safe, and I'll see you next time.